chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven is stirring, and the earth can already feel the tremors. October 5th is not going to pass as any other day. Something has been whispered in the midnight hours. Something urgent that only those with ears to hear can truly receive. That is why you are here now. Reading this word, this is not coincidence. It is divine appointment. You are standing at the edge of a threshold, and the Spirit of God is pressing pause on the noise around you so that you can hear this. You are chosen for what is about to unfold. Every battle, every sleepless night, every rejection you endured was not wasted. They were markers, preparing you for a sudden breaking, a spiritual eruption that will shift atmospheres. Do not think for a second that you were overlooked. No. You have been preserved for this hour. Heaven has been holding you back, not because you were forgotten, but because the appointed time was not yet ripe. Now the countdown has begun, and October 5th will reveal why your life could never move like the rest. Chosen one. You must understand, there is a war in the unseen that has intensified. The reason you have felt so much pressure, so much resistance, is because darkness has sensed the coming wave of glory over your life. You are a torchbearer. You are the one the enemy fears, because your light exposes what others would rather leave hidden, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. Wait for it. It will come. Can you feel it? Heaven is leaning in. The Spirit has been nudging you in quiet moments, telling you not to quit, whispering that something greater is coming. The tears you shed in secret were seen. The prayers you prayed when no one knew those prayers have been stored up in golden bowls before the throne. They are about to tip. The release is near. October 5th is not just a date. It is a doorway. Do not take this lightly. Some will hear and scroll away. But the chosen ones will know in their spirit that this is confirmation. You are not reading empty words. You are receiving divine intelligence from heaven's counsel. You cannot afford to be distracted, to waste time on what drains you. The urgency in this moment is to position your heart, cleanse your hands, and lift your eyes. For the King is ready to reveal himself in a fresh wave of power. And here is the truth. Chosen one. You have been misunderstood because you were never meant to blend in. You walk with a fragrance that convicts darkness. You carry an atmosphere that unsettles the plans of hell. People rejected you because the anointing on your life was too heavy for them to tolerate. But that rejection was protection. And now the very stone the builders rejected is about to become the cornerstone. October 5th will be a public demonstration of what heaven has always known about you. Take this as a holy warning. Do not delay. Do not procrastinate. This is not a season for spiritual slumber. The trumpet is sounding in the spirit. The ones who sleep will miss the door. The ones who mock will be caught off guard. But you will be awake, alert, and ready. That is why this message is reaching you now. Chosen one. Let this be your first prophetic act. Respond in faith. Do not remain silent in this hour. Heaven is calling you to declare openly that you receive this word. Type 38 inches. The comments as a prophetic sign that you are aligned with the mystery and ready for what October 5th carries. When you comment, you are not just typing numbers. You are planting a seed of obedience into the atmosphere, declaring, "Yes, Lord, I am ready." And as you do this, Make sure you do not walk alone. Like, share, and subscribe so that this word reaches every other chosen one who needs to be awakened. The enemy wants this fire to stay hidden, but when you share, you are spreading the flame. You are partnering with heaven to prepare the army of the marked ones. Beloved, October 5th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a line in the sand. It is a spiritual explosion waiting to erupt. Stand firm. Keep your oil ready. And fix your eyes on the one who called you. You will see what you have been waiting for. And when it comes, you will know without a doubt it was for such a time as this. Chosen one. The weight you have carried until now has not been random. The delays, the sudden stops, the strange seasons where nothing seemed to move forward, they were not accidents. They were hidden preparations. The shaping of your spirit for what is about to be unveiled. October 5th is not coming empty. Heaven has been orchestrating events, aligning details, and setting the stage for your destiny to step into visibility. Sometimes it felt as though God was silent, as though your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling. You wondered why the answers tarried, why the breakthrough seemed so far away. But what you could not see was the construction taking place behind the veil. Heaven does not build on shaky ground. Foundations must be set before the unveiling. That is why you were pressed so deeply, because the weight of glory you are about to carry could not rest on weak pillars. Chosen one, pay attention to the threads of your story, the betrayals that pushed you out of certain circles, the closed doors that humiliated you, the sudden shifts that made no sense. They were actually divine exits. You were not being cut off. You were being redirected. The Spirit was weaving protection through what looked like rejection. And all along, you were being kept for the day of unveiling. The hidden preparation has been a training ground. Every tear was watering the soil of your future. Every night of intercession was depositing currency into the vault of heaven. And on October 5th, the vault begins to open. The Spirit has stored up treasures, rewards, and answers for you. And now the timing is aligned. But hear this truth: God reveals only when the hour is right. There are blessings that cannot be released prematurely, for early release would destroy rather than build. That is why you were held back from some opportunities others seemed to walk into. It was not punishment, it was mercy. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly on heaven's clock. Chosen one. You are about to witness why you had to wait. Suddenly, things will make sense. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces will come together. What was hidden is about to be shouted from the rooftops. The silent preparation is about to be transformed into a public manifestation. You will walk into places that once rejected you, but this time they will have no choice but to recognize the oil on your life. And now, as the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us eternal weight of glory. That weight of glory is what the enemy has been trying to distract you from. Every sudden attack, every storm of confusion, every whisper of discouragement, it was hell's desperate attempt to keep you blind to what was being formed in secret. But nothing could abort what God has ordained. The hidden things are about to be revealed. Beloved, October 5th is when the curtains begin to lift. The Spirit is about to reveal not only your calling, but also why you had to endure so much resistance. What looked like opposition was really confirmation. The pressure was proof of the treasure within you. Do not look back with regret. Look forward with expectation. The unveiling is not just about you, but about those assigned to your light. There are people who cannot move forward until you step into your position. That is why the enemy tried so hard to suffocate you in secret places, because your rising will unlock others. This hidden preparation was never only for your benefit, it was to prepare you as a vessel for many. Chosen one, you must understand, heaven hides what is precious until the world is ready. Gold is hidden deep within the earth. Pearls are formed in darkness, and diamonds are pressed in silence. You too were hidden. But now, the revealing hour has arrived. October 5th is when the cover is removed, when what has been concealed is announced. Do not be afraid of exposure. Do not shrink back when the light shines on you. This is your moment to stand boldly, to let the glory of God be seen through you. The same God who hid you will also sustain you when you are revealed. You will not crumble under the weight. You will rise with strength because the hidden preparation has made you unshakable. So lift your head. Chosen one, do not despise what felt like wasted years. They were sacred years, carved by God's own hand. And soon, the world will see what heaven has always known. You are chosen. You are marked. And you are ready. Chosen one. Do you feel it? The weight in the air, the pressure pressing against your soul. This is not your imagination. Something fierce has been moving in the unseen realms, and it has been aimed at you. Every moment of heaviness, every strange dream, every sudden warfare in your mind is evidence that your life has become a battlefield of heaven and hell. You are a target because you are chosen. You are marked because the anointing you carry is not ordinary. The unseen war is not random. It is a reaction. Hell has sensed what is approaching on October 5th, and it is terrified. Darkness always resists what it cannot control. And you, chosen one, are uncontrollable because you belong to God. The enemy has tried to silence you, to wear you out, to convince you that you are weak. But look, after all the battles, you are still here. That in itself is proof that you are a warrior. Spiritual warfare is not always loud. Sometimes it is disguised as confusion in your relationships. Sometimes it comes as sudden financial loss. Other times it shows up as depression in the middle of the night. Yet behind it all, there is one purpose: to stop you before you cross into destiny. But the truth is this: your warfare is confirmation that your breakthrough is near. The closer the delivery, the more intense the labor pains. Chosen one, you cannot afford to misinterpret this season. The battles are not a sign that you are abandoned. They are proof that you are chosen. If you were ordinary, hell would leave you alone. But because you are carrying something extraordinary, the attacks have been extraordinary too. And as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope." This is why you must not retreat now. October 5th is not simply a date. It is a spiritual explosion that will shift your warfare into breakthrough. The battles you are facing are the birth pangs of something heaven has scheduled for release. And when that day breaks, every dart that was fired at you will be silenced by the roar of God's victory. But you must make a decision in this hour. Will you bow under the pressure, or will you stand as the warrior you are? The angels assigned to you are waiting for your agreement. The moment you say yes to the calling, you authorize heaven to fight on your behalf in ways you have not yet seen. Chosen one. Here is your prophetic act in this moment. Comment, "I stand," below. This is not just typing words. It is a declaration to heaven, to earth, and to the unseen realms that you are not shrinking back. When you comment, you are announcing, "No matter the battle, I remain in my position. I will not run. I will not break. I will stand." This declaration shifts your posture from victim to warrior. Do not underestimate the power of your confession. Words are spiritual weapons. When you declare, "I stand," you are raising a banner over your life that darkness cannot ignore. You are saying, "I will endure the fire, because I know glory is on the other side." This is your rallying cry, your refusal to bow down, your bold step into alignment with heaven's plan. The warfare is heavy, yes, but so is the glory about to be revealed. The enemy has fought you so violently because he knows what you do not fully see yet, that you are destined to carry fire, to release freedom, to disrupt darkness wherever you go. That is why he tried to break you before October 5th. But here you are, still breathing, still chosen, still burning. Beloved, remember this: no battle is wasted. Even the tears you shed in warfare are weapons in the spirit. They water the ground where your breakthrough will spring forth. Do not despise the fight, because the fight is shaping you into a weapon that cannot be stopped. The scars on your soul will one day become the stripes that others are healed by. October 5th is your marker. Heaven has timed the explosion so that your warfare shifts into testimony. You will not be known for the battles you fought, but for the victories you carried out of them. Stand firm. Chosen one. You are not fighting alone. The hosts of heaven are surrounding you, and the voice of God is thundering in your defense. This is the hour to stand, not to shrink. Lift your head, steady your heart, and declare it boldly: "I stand." 1. Chosen one. You need to grasp this truth. You are not an accident in this moment of history. You have been marked for this exact hour. Every detail of your life, the places you have been, the people you have lost, the prayers you have whispered, has been leading to this very time. October 5th is not about random spiritual noise. It is about the unveiling of those who have been quietly set apart, and you are one of them. To be marked is not to be popular. To be marked is not to be celebrated by the crowd. Instead, it often means to be misunderstood, to be isolated, to walk roads others fear to tread. The world did not recognize you because heaven has not yet revealed you. This mark upon your life has been hidden, but it has been real all along. You have felt it deep in your bones, the sense that you were never like everyone else. The pull toward higher places that others ignored. Chosen one. The mark of God is evidence of destiny. It is a seal on your spirit that cannot be erased by human rejection or demonic resistance. That is why you could not fit in, no matter how hard you tried. That is why certain doors refused to open for you. The hand of God has been steering you away from the ordinary path, carving out a road that only you could walk. Sometimes you doubted it. You asked yourself, why do I feel so different? Why is my life not unfolding like theirs? But the difference was never a flaw. It was the evidence that you were chosen. You carry a frequency that cannot blend with the noise of the world. And when the hour of unveiling comes, those who overlooked you will realize what heaven has known all along. You were marked to be a torchbearer. Do not underestimate the significance of this mark. It is not just symbolic, it is protective. When destruction swept near you, you were preserved. When danger surrounded you, you were spared. There were battles that should have consumed you, but they did not. Why? Because you were marked. The enemy could not cross the bloodline written over your destiny. The assignment on your life has made you untouchable to certain forms of destruction. This does not mean the journey has been easy. In fact, being marked often makes the warfare fiercer. Hell does not waste resources on those with no future. The heaviness you have felt, the unusual storms you have endured, the betrayals that cut so deeply, all of them were connected to the mark on your life. But still, you are here. That is proof enough. The mark did not just set you apart, it preserved you until the time of revealing. Chosen one, let this settle in your heart. You were born for such a time as this. Heaven knew the turbulence of these days, and so heaven raised you up as a vessel of light in the storm. You are not here by chance. You were planted strategically. The fire inside you was not meant to be hidden forever. October 5th is the hour when hidden torches begin to blaze. This reality may feel overwhelming, but it should also bring peace. You are not carrying this calling in your own strength. The one who marked you is the same one who empowers you, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1, "But now, thus says the Lord, who created you, O Jacob, and he who formed you, O Israel, fear not. For I have redeemed you, I have called you by your name, you are mine." That verse is not just for history, it is alive in you today. You are his. You are not claimed by failure, not owned by rejection, not defined by mistakes. You are marked as his possession, his chosen vessel. This is why the enemy could not have you. This is why death passed you over. This is why despair never fully consumed you. Because you are not your own, you belong to him. And when October 5th arrives, that ownership will be displayed in ways you cannot deny. Heaven will put a spotlight on what it has kept hidden. The mark on your life will be revealed, and you will see why you could never be ordinary. Others will marvel, but you will know it was always his hand. It was always his seal. Chosen one, lift your heart in kiat, gratitude. The waiting was not wasted. The battles were not in vain. You were marked, preserved, and now prepared for this hour. The unveiling is near, and you will step into it with confidence. Because you were never alone, you were always his. Chosen one, hear me with your spirit wide awake. October 5th is a day of breaking. This is when the old cycles will shatter, when the patterns that kept you bound will lose their grip. You have walked in circles long enough, revisiting the same pain, repeating the same battles, facing the same frustrations, but heaven has set a date for release, and that date is almost here. Cycles are like invisible chains. They keep you walking but never arriving, striving but never resting, hoping but never possessing. You know what it feels like. Relationships that always collapse in the same way. Opportunities that come but slip through your hands. Emotions that rise and fall in the same weary rhythm. The enemy designed those cycles to keep you trapped in repetition, as though your life were a record stuck on the same broken note. But when God steps in, the sound changes. Think of Israel circling the wilderness. For 40 years they repeated the same journey, never entering the promised land. But then God declared, "You have circled this mountain long enough. Chosen one." That is the word over your life in this season. Enough. No more circles. No more wasted years. The wilderness cycle breaks, and the promised season begins. This breaking will not be quiet. It will feel like glass shattering, like chains snapping in the night. Patterns of defeat will lose their power. Cycles of fear will dissolve. Generational curses that chased your family line will finally collapse. And in that moment, you will understand why October 5th was not just another date. It was a divine reset. Chosen one. The Spirit has been preparing you even through your pain. Every tear watered the ground for this breakthrough. Every rejection carved space in your soul for new joy. Every loss cleared room for restoration. What the enemy meant for evil, God has turned into preparation. And now, the moment is near when the weight of the old will crumble, and you will walk lighter, freer, stronger than ever before. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 36, "So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." This is not theory, it is promise. And on October 5th, that promise becomes reality. Chosen one. Think of your life as a field. For years, stones of disappointment and weeds of fear have choked the soil. But God, the master gardener, is clearing the field. The plow of his Spirit is breaking the hard ground. Why? Because a new harvest is coming, and the soil must be ready. This is why you had to endure the breaking. It was preparation for planting. And let me speak plainly. This message is not just for you. There are countless other chosen ones who are stuck in their cycles, desperate for a word, waiting for a sign that freedom is near. They are like seeds hidden under the ground, waiting for a ray of light. You can be that light for them. This is why I ask you, from the depths of sincerity, like the sound of a trumpet echoing through a valley, do not keep this message locked away. Share it, not as an act of habit, but as an act of warfare. When you share, you break chains in someone else's life. When you like, you are pressing your agreement into the atmosphere, saying, "I believe this word." When you subscribe, you are choosing to walk alongside others who carry the same mark, refusing to journey alone in the wilderness. Imagine it this way. A torch in the dark only lights a small circle. But when the torch is passed, suddenly the whole valley glows. By sharing this word, you are passing the torch, multiplying the light, and igniting hope in places you may never step physically. This is how chosen ones move. We break cycles not just for ourselves, but for entire generations. Chosen one. October 5th is not just about your personal breakthrough. It is about a collective eruption. Many torches will ignite at once. Many chains will fall together. And a chorus of freedom will rise from every corner of the earth. You are part of that sound, part of that fire, part of that divine eruption. So let your heart be steady. The breaking will come suddenly, but it will not destroy you. It will liberate you. The noise of the shattering is not chaos. It is freedom singing. The old cycles are done. The wilderness is over. The chains are broken. And what is coming is not bondage, but promise. not delay. But destiny. Lift your head. Chosen one. Breathe deep. The air is already changing. You will not walk in circles anymore. October 5th is the day the ground beneath your feet shifts forever. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and let this truth wash over you. There is a mystery hidden in this season, and it is about to open in your life. Heaven has been whispering a code, a prophetic number, a divine alignment that speaks not just of time, but of purpose. October 5th is not random, it is synchronized with this mystery. Numbers are not just mathematics to God. They are markers of prophecy, symbols of alignment, reminders of His eternal order. When Noah entered the ark, when Israel marched around Jericho, when Jesus fasted in the wilderness, every number carried weight. Every count carried prophecy. And now the Spirit draws your attention to the number you are about to declare as a prophetic act. The number is prophetic because it speaks of crossing thresholds. It is the code that signals transition from waiting to walking, from watching to possessing. Heaven is showing you that your season of paralysis is ending. Just as that man rose from his mat and carried it away, you too will rise from the mat of delay and carry testimony instead of shame. But the Spirit says this: it requires your agreement. Prophecy is not magic, it is partnership. When you believe, when you align, when you declare, the invisible doors swing wide. That is why, at this very moment, I am calling you into a prophetic response. Type 444 inches, the comments below. This is not about numbers on a screen. It is about aligning your spirit with heaven's countdown. The number 444 is a sign of divine order, angelic protection, and completion of cycles. When you declare it, you are announcing that your life is shifting into alignment with heaven's pattern. You are saying, I agree with the breaking. I step into the promise. I align with the order of God. Do not underestimate the weight of this act. The enemy trembles when chosen ones respond in faith. Every 444 written is a banner lifted in the Spirit, a proclamation that heaven's order is greater than hell's chaos. You are not typing numbers, you are planting seeds in the soil of destiny. Chosen one, can you feel the gravity of this? The same Spirit who stirred prophets in the wilderness, who whispered to Elijah in the cave, who filled the apostles in the upper room, is now stirring you to act. Heaven says your obedience. Heaven records your faith. Heaven honors your declaration. Understand this: prophetic numbers are not superstition. They are spiritual language, a way God speaks patterns into time. When you align with that language, you step into His rhythm. That is why your response matters. Silence is delay, but faith is acceleration. The Spirit wants you to know your 38-year wilderness is ending. Your paralysis is over. October 5th is the pool where heaven meets your weakness and declares, rise, take up your mat, and walk. And as you rise, the world will see the difference. You will walk into opportunities that once passed you by. You will step into authority that once seemed distant. You will move with clarity, boldness, and strength, because the prophetic code has been activated in your life. Remember the words Jesus spoke in that moment of healing. Do you want to be made well? That question echoes to you now. It is not about ability, it is about desire. Do you want it badly enough to respond? Do you want it enough to step out of old patterns? and into faith. Your prophetic declaration is your answer, and the ancient words recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, verse 8. Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And here is the truth. When you align with heaven's timing, no force of darkness can resist you. Chains break, doors open, and favor surrounds you like a shield. This is what October 5th will mark for you. It is the announcement that your hidden years are meeting heaven's calendar. Chosen one. Your life will not look the same after this. You will look back at the pain and realize it was the soil for your promise. You will remember the waiting and recognize it was preparation for the unveiling. And you will declare with confidence that what once held you bound could not stop the hand of God. So let this be your moment of alignment. Type 444 as your prophetic seal. Let your fingers write what your heart believes. And as you do, remember, heaven has timed this perfectly. You are not late. You are right on schedule. October 5th is the day your waiting ends and your walking begins. Chosen one. Have you noticed the restless stirring in your nights? The way your sleep has been interrupted? The way you suddenly wake up in the early hours, as if a hand unseen is shaking you awake? That is not coincidence. It is the Spirit of God calling you into watchfulness, pouring oil into your spirit at the midnight hour. October 5th is drawing close, and the Spirit is aligning His chosen ones with the rhythm of heaven's watch. There is something about the midnight hour that heaven treasures. It is when the world is quiet, when distractions are silenced, when the noise of the day no longer drowns out the voice of God. It is also the hour when darkness works its schemes, when the enemy plots in shadows, when fear creeps into the minds of the weary semp. And yet, this is the very moment heaven invites you to rise and stand as a watchman. Chosen one. The oil is poured at night because night requires light. You are being awakened so that you can carry illumination into the darkest corners of your world. The shaking you feel in your spirit is heaven, reminding you that you are not simply called to exist. You are called to stand, watch, to watch for your family, to watch for your generation, to watch for your own destiny. There is a reason the 10 virgins in Jesus' parable were tested at midnight. It was not during the noise of the day, but at the quietest, darkest hour, that the cry rang out, "Behold, the bridegroom comes." Some were ready, oil in their lamps burning bright. Others, though outwardly similar, ad no reserve. And when the hour came, they were shut out. The midnight oil is not optional. It is survival. Chosen one. This is why you cannot ignore the call to pray. Even when it feels inconvenient, your spirit knows something your flesh resists, that these prayers are the currency of breakthrough. Every time you rise to pray when sleep seems sweeter, you are depositing oil in your lamp. And when October 5th arrives, those who stored oil will shine, while those who neglected the call will stumble in the dark. Do not despise the call to watch. It is not a burden, it is an honor. You have been selected to hear what others sleep through. Heaven has trusted you with whispers that others never catch. When you rise at midnight, you are standing between heaven and earth, intercepting what the enemy intends and releasing what heaven decrees. Think of the moments when sudden heaviness woke you in the night. You may not have known why, but your spirit was already interceding. Sometimes your words failed, but your tears prayed louder than your tongue. Other times, you sat in silence. And yet your presence before God shifted battles in unseen realms. These were not wasted moments. They were training sessions, sharpening your discernment, filling your vessel with oil. Chosen one, your oil is precious. It is not just for you, it is for the ones assigned to your light. When others walk in despair, they will look to you and see hope burning. When fear tries to consume the atmosphere, your presence will disrupt it. That is why your oil must never run dry. October 5th will be a day when those with lamps burning will step into places others cannot. Consider this. When Paul and Silas were imprisoned, it was midnight when they began to sing hymns and pray. The prison shook. The doors flew open, and chains fell, not only theirs, but every prisoner's. Midnight worship carries shaking power. Midnight oil breaks open doors. Midnight prayer releases others, not just you. Your obedience to watch is bigger than you realize. It carries weight for entire households, entire cities, entire generations. The Spirit is saying, do not be casual about the night watches. Your rising at midnight may seem small, but in eternity's records, it is monumental. Angels are dispatched at your prayers. Demons scatter when your lamp burns. The oil you carry terrifies the darkness. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 119, verse 62. At midnight I will rise to give thanks to you, because of your righteous judgments. This was not ritual for David, it was revelation. He understood that midnight belongs to God, that it is a sacred hour for thanksgiving, intercession, and encounter. You, chosen one, are being called into that same rhythm. Heaven is tuning your spirit to rise in the night, so that when the explosive shift comes on October 5th, you will already be aligned. Do not see your midnight awakenings as interruptions. See them as invitations. The bridegroom is whispering, "Come away with me." The king is summoning his watchmen to the walls. The oil is flowing into those who respond. Chosen one, prepare your lamp. Protect your oil. Do not trade your watchfulness for comfort. The night may feel long, but the dawn is near, and your lamp will testify that you were ready. October 5th is not coming to catch you unprepared. It is coming to crown the watchful, chosen one. Silence is not always absence. There are times when heaven grows quiet, when prayers seem unanswered, when the wind of God that once rushed so loudly in your life now feels still. This silence can feel suffocating, leaving you wondering if you have been forgotten. But let me tell you, this silence is holy. It is the calm before the roar, before every eruption, before every shaking. There is a stillness that settles. The earth itself follows this pattern before a storm breaks. The air grows heavy, still, and waiting. Before the waves of an earthquake tremble the ground, there is a pause in the soil, a moment where creation holds its breath. Heaven moves the same way. The silence you feel is not a void, it is a preparation. Chosen one. Do not mistake this holy quiet as rejection. You are not abandoned, you are being aligned. What often does his greatest work in silence? Seeds sprout in hidden soil. Babies are formed in the unseen womb. Diamonds are pressed in dark caves. The most powerful works of heaven are hidden until the appointed time, and October 5th carries that appointed time. This silence has been necessary. If God had spoken too soon, you would not have been ready. If he had revealed too early, the enemy would have tried to counterfeit the moment. The silence has been protection, allowing heaven's plans to mature beyond the reach of premature attack. What feels like a delay is actually a shield. You have felt this quiet in your spirit. Nights when you prayed and the heavens felt locked. Days when you worshipped but felt no wind. Weeks when the scriptures did not seem to breathe as they once did. And yet, here you are, still seeking, still hoping, still marked. That is the power of the silence. It tests your hunger. Will you continue to seek when you hear nothing? Will you remain faithful when the voice is faint? Chosen one, this silence is a furnace, refining your devotion. It proves whether you were following the hand of God or the heart of God. Anyone can rejoice when the heavens thunder, but the chosen ones cling, even in the stillness. This is why you are being trusted with what is coming. You have endured the silence without letting go. Remember Elijah on Mount Carmel, after fire fell from heaven and consumed the sacrifice. Elijah went to the mountain to hear the voice of God. The wind came, but God was not in the wind. The earthquake shook, but God was not in the earthquake. The fire burned, but God was not in the fire. Then came the sound of a gentle whisper. That whisper was enough to shake a prophet to his knees. Chosen one, the silence you feel is preparing you for the whisper. October 5th will not just be thunder and lightning, it will be the unveiling of God's whisper in your spirit. The roar that is coming begins first as a whisper in your soul. Those who listen in the silence will hear it before the crowd. Those who endure the stillness will recognize the sound when it breaks forth. You see, silence builds anticipation. It draws you deeper. It causes your ears to sharpen, your spirit to lean in, your eyes to search. This is what heaven has been doing in you. The roar that is coming will not surprise you, because you will have already been trained in the silence. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Peace is your posture in the silence. You do not need to strive. You do not need to scramble. The silence is not demanding your effort, it is demanding your trust. God Himself is moving, and your role is to remain still, steady, and faithful until the roar breaks. Chosen one, hold steady in this quiet season. Do not let fear interpret the silence. Do not let impatience rob you of preparation. The stillness you feel is the pause of heaven before an explosion of glory. It is the lull before the trumpet, the calm before the fire, the quiet before the flood of His presence. And when the roar comes, it will make sense. The silence will suddenly appear as mercy, as preparation, as the sacred womb of your next season. You will thank God for the quiet, because it birthed in you a hunger and resilience that nothing else could. So, endure the silence. Breathe in the stillness. Lean closer to the whisper. October 5th will not break without warning. Heaven has already been preparing you in this holy quiet. Soon, the roar will come, and when it does, you will not be shaken, because the silence already rooted you in unshakable faith. Chosen one, the air is shifting. The silence that hovered is now beginning to tremble, as if the heavens are clearing their throat before releasing a sound that will shake the earth. This is the moment when your spirit must be fully awake, when your heart must be alert. October 5th is not only about what heaven will release, it is also about how you will respond. Every divine announcement requires a human echo. Heaven does not just speak to the air, it speaks to hearts, to vessels, to those who dare to answer. That is why your response matters. The Spirit is not just delivering information, the Spirit is seeking agreement. And your agreement becomes the key that unlocks manifestation. Chosen one. Think of the prophets of old. When God spoke to Isaiah, he answered, "Here am I. Send me." When Jeremiah was called, though he trembled, he said yes. When Mary received the word about carrying the Messiah, she declared, "Be it unto me according to your word." In every case, the announcement from heaven demanded an answer from earth. Without that answer, destiny would not have unfolded. This is where you stand right now. The Spirit has been announcing, whispering, confirming, stirring. October 5th is the appointed day, but your response is the doorway. If you remain silent, the moment will pass you by. But if you declare with your mouth and align with your heart, the gates will swing open. This is why I ask you now, in faith, to type in the comments, "I agree." No, 3 simple words, but powerful in the Spirit. "I agree" is not just a phrase, it is a covenant. When you type it, you are signing your name to heaven's decree. You are saying, "I align with what God is doing. I accept the breaking of old cycles. I open my life for the explosion of His glory." End of quote. Do not underestimate the power of this small act. Agreement is the foundation of authority. Scripture says, "Where 2 agree on earth concerning anything, it shall be done by the Father in heaven." When you agree, you are not just aligning with me, you are aligning with heaven's agenda. You are adding your yes to God's yes. Chosen one. Your "I agree" is a spiritual weapon. The enemy thrives on doubt and hesitation. But when you boldly declare agreement, you cut off his influence. You silence the whispers of fear. You break the chains of indecision. Agreement closes the door on the past and opens the gate to the future. The ancient words in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3, declare, "Can 2 walk together unless they are agreed?" This is the question heaven asks of you now. Will you walk with God into this explosive moment, or will you remain hesitant? Agreement is the bridge between promise and possession. Without it, you remain in theory. With it, you step into reality. Consider this. When Israel stood at the edge of the Red Sea, Moses declared that God would deliver them, but the people had to agree to walk forward, to step into the path when the waters parted. Their agreement activated their deliverance. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, his first step was agreement. Agreement always precedes miracles. So, chosen one, do not hold back. Let your spirit rise. Let your heart align. Let your words carry weight. Your "I agree" is not a whisper in the void. It is a thunderclap in the Spirit. Angels record it. Demons fear it. Heaven honors it. This is why October 5th is so significant. It is not just a date marked on a calendar. It is a meeting point between your agreement and God's promise. The explosion will not just happen around you, it will happen in you. But it requires your yes, your echo, your response. Chosen one, let this truth settle in your soul. Heaven is not waiting on the world. It is waiting on you. The roar of God is ready to break forth, but your agreement is the signal. This is why the Spirit has been tugging at you so strongly. This is why the warfare increased. This is why the silence stretched on. Heaven was preparing you for this one simple, yet world-shaking declaration: I agree. So, as the roar prepares to burst, make your agreement visible. Type it, declare it, seal it. For when you say, I agree, you are no longer just a hearer of prophecy, you are a participant. You are stepping into the very center of what God is doing on October 5th. Chosen one. This is the hour of agreement. Speak it, believe it, live it, and watch how heaven moves at the sound of your yes. Chosen one. The shaking is already in motion. In the unseen, thrones of darkness are trembling. Strongholds that stood for years are beginning to crack. October 5th will not just be another day, it will be the day when what has been hidden in the shadows is pulled into the light and dethroned. Every structure of oppression, every whispering spirit of fear, every barrier that mocked your prayers is about to be shaken loose. You need to see your life for what it really is, a battlefield. There are kingdoms of darkness that have claimed territory over your family line, your mind, your future. But those kingdoms are not eternal. They are fragile, temporary, already sentenced to collapse under the weight of God's power. The roar that is coming on October 5th is not only for blessing, it is for overthrow. Imagine a city built on corrupt foundations. It looks strong from the outside, but deep within, the walls are hollow. When the earthquake comes, it does not just rattle windows, it reduces the proud towers to dust. That is what heaven's shaking is about to do in your life. Every proud tower of despair, every corrupt foundation of lies, every fortified camp of the enemy will not survive the quake of God's Spirit. This is not the first time heaven has shaken thrones. Pharaoh's seat was shaken in Egypt until he had to release Israel. The walls of Jericho fell flat when heaven's vibration hit the ground. Nebuchadnezzar's pride crumbled until he bowed before the God of heaven. And now, the shaking has come for every dark throne that tried to sit over your destiny. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 27, yet once more indicates the removal of things being shaken, so that what cannot be shaken remains. This is the picture of what is happening now. Everything shakeable will be removed. Fear will not remain. Shame will not remain. The throne of intimidation will not remain. Only what is rooted in God will endure the quake. And when the dust settles, you will see clearly what was never yours to carry. Chosen one. Let the shaking do its work. Do not cling to the rubble of old ruins. Do not mourn what God is removing. When the walls of Jericho fell, Israel did not try to rebuild them. They marched forward into promise. When the chains fell from Paul and Silas, they did not put them back on. They walked out free. The shaking is not your loss. It is your liberation. Now, let me speak to your heart with sincerity. When a shaking comes, it is easy to feel isolated. But you are not walking through this alone. There is an entire family of chosen ones, scattered across nations, who are feeling the same tremors, the same pulling, the same urgency. And together, we are stronger. That is why I invite you, with all my heart, to journey with us. When you like this message, you are not just pressing a button, You are saying, "Yes, this resonates in my spirit." When you share, you are handing someone else a key out of their prison, passing light into their night. And when you subscribe, you are choosing to walk this path in unity, refusing to be shaken alone. Think of it like a campfire in the wilderness. One flame may flicker in the wind, but when the logs burn together, the fire grows unshakable. Your engagement, your like, your share, your subscription is not for vanity. It is for connection. It is for multiplying light until the fire of heaven cannot be ignored. Chosen one. This moment is bigger than you. Your obedience to spread this word may be the very spark that awakens another chosen one who is still lost in shadows. Your light may become their way of escape. That is the beauty of the shaking. It awakens not just individuals, but communities. It turns scattered sparks into roaring flames. So, receive this truth with faith. The shaking is not against you. It is for you. It is heaven saying, "Enough is enough." It is God stepping into the battlefield of your life and toppling every false throne. And when October 5th arrives, you will not be trembling in fear. You will be standing in victory. Lift your eyes. Chosen one, let your heart rest. What is shaking now is proof that glory is near. What is falling away is proof that something greater is about to rise. And when the dust clears, only what is unshakable will remain, you, standing in the power of the one who called you. Chosen one. As the shaking clears the ground and the thrones of darkness crumble, something greater begins to descend. Mantles and crowns. You have felt stripped. You have felt emptied. You have felt pressed, but all of that was to prepare you to carry weight that others could not. This is the hour when authority is being transferred, when heaven releases robes of identity and crowns of glory to those who endured the fire. A mantle is more than clothing, it is an assignment. In the days of Elijah and Elisha, the mantle was not just a garment thrown over the shoulders, it carried authority, power, and responsibility. When Elijah passed his mantle to Elisha, it was heaven's way of saying, "The season has shifted. A new authority rests here." And Elisha did not just wear the mantle, he walked in double portion. Chosen one. October 5th is your moment of receiving. The battles you fought were not random. They were the training grounds to prepare you for this mantle. Every rejection, every tear, every lonely night was sharpening you for authority. Mantles are never given to the untested. They rest on those who have been proven in fire, those who have chosen obedience in the silence, those who carried light in the midnight hour. That is why you qualify. And then there are crowns. Scripture speaks often of crowns, not as ornaments of pride, but as symbols of eternal honor. There is the crown of righteousness, the crown of life, the incorruptible crown for those who endure. Crowns represent reward, recognition from heaven that your faith has not been in vain. While the world mocked you, while others misunderstood you, heaven has been preparing your crown. Chosen one. You are stepping into a season where heaven will place authority on your shoulders and honor on your head. The weight you carried in suffering will now be replaced by the weight of glory. You will sense it in your spirit, a deeper boldness, a new clarity, an unusual strength to stand in places you once trembled. This is the mantle settling. The Apostle Paul declared in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Finally, There is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day, and not to me only, but also to all who have loved his appearing. This is not a promise for Paul alone. It is for you, chosen one. The crown of righteousness belongs to all who endure, to all who keep faith alive through the fire. You did not survive the shaking for nothing. You survived because you are about to be crowned. But understand this: mantles and crowns are not for comfort. They are for calling. They are not trophies to admire. They are tools to carry. To receive a mantle is to step into greater responsibility. To receive a crown is to represent heaven with greater authority. That is why your testing was so fierce. The greater the mantle, the greater the fire required to refine the vessel. Chosen one, do not shrink from this. You may feel unworthy, but heaven does not place mantles and crowns based on human worthiness. They are given by divine choice. You are chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. You stumbled, but you got up. You wept, but you kept walking. You doubted, but you never let go. That is what qualifies you. And remember this: when Elisha took up Elijah's mantle, he immediately faced testing. The Jordan River stood before him, and the crowd watched to see if the mantle was real. He struck the water and cried out, "Where is the God of Elijah?" The waters parted, and the onlookers declared, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha." So it will be with you. The mantle you carry will be tested, but the power of God will confirm it. Your crown too will be visible, not necessarily as gold on your head, but as the undeniable weight of glory on your life. People will sense the difference. They will see light in your eyes, strength in your words, authority in your presence, and you will know it is not you. It is the crown resting on you. Chosen one. This is what October 5th marks: the passing of mantles, the crowning of the faithful. Do not fear it. Do not hide from it. Stand tall. Walk boldly. Wear what heaven gives you. The world may not understand, but heaven will celebrate. And as you carry the mantle and wear the crown, you will become a beacon to others still in the fire. Proof that faithfulness leads to glory. This is your inheritance, your reward, your moment. The mantle is falling. The crown is waiting. And you, chosen one, are ready to receive. Chosen one. The alignment is near completion. October 5th is not just about a shaking or an unveiling. It is about stepping into divine synchronization. Heaven has been arranging pieces in silence, and now the movement is speeding up. Everything is pointing toward alignment, as if the stars themselves are being pulled into formation, and you are at the very center of it. This alignment is not about human timing. It is about divine order. Many times, you felt out of step, as though your life lagged behind others. You watched them move ahead, while you remained in waiting. But the Spirit would have you know, your steps were being measured not by clocks or calendars, but by eternity. And now, suddenly, the steps will accelerate. Chosen one. When divine alignment comes, doors open that no man can shut. Paths appear where there were only walls. Relationships divinely orchestrated come together with ease, while the wrong ones fall away without struggle. This is what October 5th is ushering in: the removal of what does not belong, and the swift alignment of what does. Do you remember Joseph? For years, he endured betrayal, slavery, and prison. To men, it looked like delay, but to heaven, it was alignment. In one day, he was lifted from the dungeon to the palace. That is the speed of divine timing. Years of preparation can break into a moment of fulfillment when God declares, "Now." October 5th is a now moment. Chosen one. Do not fear the acceleration. You may feel unprepared, but the hidden years have been your preparation. What felt like wasted seasons were actually alignment drills. Every delay sharpened your patience. Every disappointment trained your faith. Every closed door guarded your destiny. And now, the locks are turning. The hinges are shifting. And doors are opening in front of you. The Spirit is calling for your response. Because alignment is not passive. It requires your agreement. You cannot simply observe. You must declare. That is why, right now, I invite you to comment 7,777 below. This is not a random act. The number 7,777 carries prophetic weight. 7 is the number of divine completion, rest, and perfection, repeated 4 times. It is a seal of heavenly order, multiplied. When you type it, you are declaring, "I am aligned. I step into heaven's timing. I agree with God's completion over my life." Again, do not dismiss this as just numbers on a screen. This is a prophetic marker. Your declaration of 7,777 is an act of faith that echoes in the spirit realm. It is a way of saying, "I do not cling to my timing. I trust heaven's timing. I am ready to step where God leads." Chosen one. Agreement in the Spirit is not about volume, but about sincerity. Heaven is not impressed with empty rituals. It responds to faith. When you declare 7,777, make it from your heart. Let it be a confession that you surrender control, that you embrace alignment, that you step boldly into God's order. The ancient words recorded in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." This is the essence of alignment. You may have planned one path, but heaven redirected your steps. You may have mourned certain losses, but those were heaven's reroutes. And now, the detours lead straight into destiny. What once looked like confusion will soon reveal itself as perfect design. Chosen one. Imagine your life as a great tapestry. From the underside, it looked chaotic, threads tangled, knots everywhere, colors seemingly out of place. But when heaven flips the tapestry, you will see the beauty of the pattern. October 5th is the flipping of the canvas. What was tangled will reveal design. What was random will reveal order. This is why you cannot quit now. Alignment is near. The Spirit is calling you into position. Heaven has already whispered to creation, and the earth itself is making way. Angels are stationed. Assignments are released. The hour is here. Your response is to align your heart, align your words, align your faith. Chosen one. Do not fear the speed of this change. Trust it. Flow with it. You have been preserved for this very hour. Every setback was part of the choreography. Every loss was part of the symphony. And now the music is building toward the crescendo. So rise in faith. Declare your alignment. Mark it with your prophetic response, and step into the day when heaven and earth meet in divine order. October 5th, the day of alignment for the chosen one. There comes a time when the veil between heaven and earth thins, when the invisible world presses close, and the eternal brushes against the temporal. October 5th will be such a time for those who are awake in spirit. It will not simply be another day, but a doorway. Heaven will open over you, and streams of revelation will pour like rain onto your soul. This opening is not about spectacle. It is not about outward signs alone. It is about clarity, your eyes seeing what was hidden, your ears hearing what was muffled, your heart discerning what once confused you. The veil is lifting, not so you can boast, but so you can walk with confidence in the path that was once clouded. Chosen one, you must understand that visions and dreams are not accidents. They are communications from the eternal. When Jacob laid his head on a stone in the wilderness, heaven opened, and he saw the ladder reaching up to glory. When Daniel slept, he received dreams that outlined the rise and fall of kingdoms. When Peter dozed on the rooftop, he saw a vision that opened the door of salvation to the nations. These were not fantasies. They were glimpses into heaven's scrolls. And so it will be for you. Heaven's opening is not to entertain, it is to instruct. You will dream with unusual intensity. You will wake with scriptures burning in your mind. You will see confirmations in patterns around you that cannot be dismissed as coincidence. This is the language of heaven when the veil lifts. At first, you may doubt it. You may wonder if your mind is just restless, if your imagination is too strong. But understand this: when heaven opens, it voice carry peace, weight, and clarity that imagination cannot counterfeit. You will know, because your spirit will vibrate with recognition. Chosen one, heaven does not open without reason. It is always for assignment. Isaiah saw the Lord high and lifted up, and in that vision, he was commissioned as a prophet. John was caught up in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and through that opening, he received the revelation. Heaven reveals itself to mark, to send, to empower. That is why October 5th matters, because what you see will not be random, but a commissioning for your next season. The Spirit is saying, prepare yourself to record. Keep your heart open, your spirit sensitive, your hands ready to write. The dreams and visions will not fade into emptiness if you honor them. Write them, pray over them, guard them, and they will guide you. For some of you, they will be maps to new callings. For others, they will be blueprints for businesses, ministries, or movements. Heaven is not opening for entertainment, but for empowerment. According to what is revealed in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 17, "And it shall come to pass in the last days, says God, that I will pour out of my Spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions. Your old men shall dream dreams." End of foot. This promise is alive in you. It is not confined to ancient days. The same Spirit is at work now, opening heaven over your life, pouring visions into your nights and clarity into your days. Chosen one, do not be afraid of what you see. Some visions may seem strange, some dreams intense, but trust the Spirit to interpret. You are not being given mysteries to confuse you, but messages to prepare you. Pray for discernment. And wisdom will accompany the revelation. Heaven does not give gifts without guidance. And remember this, when heaven opens, it also protects. Just as angels ascended and descended on Jacob's ladder, so too will angelic presence surround you in this time. The visions will not only bring guidance, but also assurance. You are not walking this path alone. The opening of heaven is heaven's way of saying, "We are with you." And so, receive this truth with reverence. October 5th will be more than a date. It will be a portal. The veil will lift. The skies will open. And you will know with certainty that heaven has drawn near. Your assignment will be clearer. Your strength renewed. Your heart refreshed. This is the blessing of the open heaven. Chosen one. Watch and listen. Do not despise the dreams. Do not dismiss the visions. They are heaven's way of guiding you through the days to come. Chosen one. The hour has come when you will no longer just carry promises in your spirit. You will walk in power in your daily life. The events of October 5th are not meant to remain as a private revelation locked inside your heart. They are meant to be lived out with authority, with clarity, and with tangible transformation. You were never chosen simply to see. You were chosen to walk. This walking in power is not about titles or platforms. It is about carrying unseen authority into every ordinary place. The Spirit of God is not confined to pulpits or sacred gatherings. He dwells in you, moving with you into your home, your workplace, your relationships. What you receive from heaven, you must now live on earth. Chosen one. Walking in power looks like peace when chaos swirls. It looks like joy that refuses to bow to despair. It looks like boldness when fear demands your silence. It looks like discernment when confusion tries to blur the truth. Heaven's explosion on October 5th is not meant to remain as a memory. It is fuel for a lifestyle of victory. Think of Peter after Pentecost. The same man who trembled before a servant girl walked into the streets proclaiming Christ with fire in his voice. What changed? Heaven had opened. And now he walked with unseen power. People sensed it. Environments shifted because of it. That same power, chosen one, is rising in you. This power is not loudness, it is rootedness. It is the quiet strength that cannot be shaken. The unyielding confidence that says, "I know who walks with me." The enemy trembles not because you shout, but because you stand. Every step you take becomes a declaration. I am chosen. I am marked. I am unstoppable. End of pain. But walking in power also means facing opposition. Do not be surprised if resistance rises. Light always exposes what darkness tries to hide. Yet, remember this. Power is not proven in the absence of resistance. It is proven in endurance through it. Just as fire reveals pure gold, opposition reveals genuine authority. The Word of God declares in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 7, "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellence of the power may be of God and not of us." This is the balance of walking in unseen power. You are the vessel, fragile and human, but the treasure within you is divine. Your weakness is not a disqualification. It is the very stage on which God displays His strength. Every time you feel unworthy, remember, it was never about your worth, but about His glory shining through you. Chosen one. This power will manifest in practical ways. Words you speak will carry unusual weight. Your prayers will shift situations more quickly. People around you will feel peace simply by being near you. These are not coincidences. They are the ripple effects of heaven moving through you. Do not downplay them. Do not explain them away. Recognize them as signs of the mantle you now carry. And yet, walking in power also requires discipline. Oil leaks from vessels that are careless. Protect your prayer life. Guard your purity. Stay close to the Word. The enemy will try to distract you, to lure you back into cycles that leak your strength. But remember, power thrives in consecration. The more surrendered you remain, the stronger the flow. Chosen one. October 5th is not the end of the journey, it is the ignition. What was poured into you on that day is meant to carry you forward into the battles and assignments ahead. Do not leave it on the shelf as a memory. Wield it daily as a weapon. Speak boldly. Walk humbly. Love deeply. And watch as heaven backs you in every step. You will find yourself in moments where fear once ruled, and suddenly you will respond with courage you did not know you had. You will enter conversations where you once felt small, and suddenly your words will cut through with clarity. You will step into environments heavy with despair, and suddenly hope will rise simply because you entered. This is what it means to walk in unseen power. Chosen one. Take courage. You are not powerless. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are a vessel of divine treasure, walking proof that heaven still moves on earth. Let your steps be steady, your heart be humble, your spirit be aflame. And as you walk, remember, every step shakes the ground of darkness, and every breath carries the fragrance of heaven. Chosen one. You are stepping into the most decisive moment of your journey. October 5th is not just a prophetic date, it is the crown's unveiling. For so long you have carried the weight of trials, endured misunderstanding, and pressed forward through storms. Now, the Spirit whispers, this is the hour to lift your head, for the crown of destiny is being extended toward you. A crown is not just a symbol of honor, it is the seal of authority. It speaks of kingship, responsibility, and visible recognition of what heaven has long known about you. You were never called to crawl in the dust. You were designed to walk in royalty. But the crown must be chosen. Heaven does not force it onto unwilling heads. You must rise and declare, I choose my crown. When you say this, you are not speaking of human titles or worldly success. You are declaring your willingness to walk in the identity heaven wrote for you. You are saying yes to responsibility, yes to authority, yes to the weight of glory. And this yes cannot remain hidden. It must be declared. That is why I invite you now. Type in the comments, I choose my crown. Do not see this as empty words. See it as a coronation act in the Spirit. When you write it, you are standing in the throne room of God, agreeing with His declaration over your life. You are saying, no more running, no more shrinking back. I embrace my calling as a chosen one. That confession shifts atmospheres. It silences the accusations of the enemy. It aligns you with the chorus of heaven. The Apostle James wrote in his letter, chapter 1, verse 12, Blessed is the man who endures temptation. When he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life. That crown of life is not simply waiting in eternity. It begins here. As you endure, as you stand, as you declare, your yes to heaven's call. The very endurance that nearly broke you is the qualification for the crown that now rests upon you. But chosen one, crowns are also mirrors. When the world sees your crown, they do not simply see you, they see the one who crowned you. Your life becomes a reflection of his majesty. Your words become echoes of his truth. Your presence becomes an atmosphere of his kingdom. That is why your crown matters. It is not for vanity, it is for testimony. Now let me speak with sincerity. What you declare today may unlock someone else's courage tomorrow. Your comment, your act of choosing, may be the spark that causes another weary chosen one to lift their head and say, if they can choose their crown, so can I. This is why I gently urge you to like, to share, to subscribe, not as a ritual, but as a ripple. Think of it as casting stones into a still pond. Each action, liking, sharing, subscribing, creates ripples that extend far beyond your sight. Somewhere, someone in despair might stumble upon this message because you shared it. Somewhere, a chosen one, drowning in silence, might be reminded of their crown because you chose to declare yours. The ripple effect is real, and you are part of it. Picture a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Its light may not seem significant to those on land, but for the sailor lost at sea, that light is salvation. By engaging with this word, you are helping to keep the flame burning brighter, ensuring that the lighthouse remains visible for those who still wander in storms. Chosen one, never underestimate the power of unity. One flame lights a candle, but 1,000 flames ignite a city. When we stand together, when you add your voice, your declaration, your simple act of engagement, the fire grows uncontainable. This is not about numbers, it is about impact. So lift your head high. Declare it boldly. I choose my crown. Let your comment be more than words. Let it be your coronation cry. And as you like, as you share, as you subscribe, remember, you are not feeding an algorithm. You are fueling a movement. You are ensuring that no chosen one remains in the dark, that no crown goes unclaimed, that no destiny remains buried. October 5th is the crowning hour. Walk into it with courage. Wear your crown with humility, and let the world see, through your life, the glory of the King who chose you. Chosen one. When an explosion happens in the spirit, the world cannot remain the same. October 5th will not leave you untouched. It is not only a date to mark, but a doorway into a new realm. The sound of chains breaking, the fall of thrones, the release of mantles, all of it converges into one truth. Life after the explosion will never again look like what it was before. Think for a moment about how fire behaves. When a spark ignites a dry forest, the landscape is forever altered. The trees that stood stubborn and unyielding are consumed, but in their place, new life emerges, richer and stronger. In the same way, the explosion of God's Spirit in your life will burn away what was dead, but it will also fertilize the ground for a harvest you could never have imagined. Chosen one. This new realm is not about comfort, it is about clarity. You will no longer wander in circles, questioning your place. You will no longer bend under the weight of fear that once dominated your steps. Instead, you will walk with certainty, because the explosion has settled what was unsettled, uprooted what was false, and confirmed what was eternal. The new realm is freedom. Freedom from cycles. Freedom from shame. Freedom from the lies that have haunted your nights. The shackles you carried in silence will not accompany you into this next chapter. October 5th is the dividing line. The point where you look back and realize the person you were has been transformed into someone stronger, bolder, freer. It is also authority. The explosion is not just for release, it is for empowerment. Think of Peter and John after Pentecost. Ordinary men, uneducated in the eyes of the world. Yet they walked into the temple and released healing with a word. The people marveled, saying they could tell these men had been with Jesus. That is what your life will echo in this new realm, evidence that you have been with the King. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. This rising, this shining, is the new posture you will carry. No more shrinking back. No more hiding your light. In this realm, the explosion has uncovered you, and now you must walk uncovered. You are no longer veiled in shame. You are clothed in glory. Chosen one. Life in the new realm will also carry new challenges. Do not expect ease, but expect strength. When Israel stepped out of Egypt, they entered wilderness battles. When David was crowned, he faced giants and wars. When the disciples received the Spirit, persecution rose. But here is the difference. In the new realm, you do not face these battles in weakness. You carry authority that ensures victory. You walk with confidence that every fight is already underwritten by God's promise. You will also notice a shift in your relationships. Some who once misunderstood, you will begin to recognize the weight you carry. Others who resisted you may be removed entirely. New connections, heaven-sent alliances, will emerge to walk with you in this realm. Do not mourn the ones who cannot cross over with you. The explosion draws clear lines. Those who remain are those appointed to your journey. Chosen one. The days ahead will not be ordinary. You will see signs, hear confirmations, and feel an awareness of God's presence more deeply than ever before. Where you once struggled to discern, clarity will flow naturally. Where you once feared to act, boldness will drive you forward. Where you once doubted, faith will anchor you. This is the fruit of the explosion. It does not leave you the same. It remakes you. It recalibrates you. It positions you. You will step into rooms differently. Because you now know you carry heaven's atmosphere with you. Your prayers will shift environments. Your words will pierce hearts. Your very presence will announce freedom. Chosen one. Do not try to cling to the old once you have tasted the new. Old patterns will feel uncomfortable. Old fears will feel foreign. Old cycles will no longer satisfy. That is because you have crossed into a different realm, and your spirit cannot live in Egypt once it has walked in promise. So, breathe deeply in this new realm. Learn its rhythms. Embrace its authority. Walk in its freedom. The explosion was not to terrify you, but to liberate you. October 5th has marked your life, and nothing will be the same again. Chosen one. You have walked through the midnight whispers, the hidden preparations, the unseen warfare, the shaking, the crowning, and now the explosion has shifted everything. You stand at the edge of a horizon you have never seen before. October 5th has not only shaken the atmosphere, it has marked you permanently. And this moment, this crowning hour, is the culmination of everything you have endured, every tear you have shed, every prayer you have whispered in silence. The crowning hour is not about outward display, it is about inner confirmation. The Spirit of God is sealing upon you what heaven has always declared. You are chosen, you are marked, and you are crowned. No man gave it to you, so no man can take it away. The crown is not fragile, it is forged in fire. It was shaped in your wilderness, molded in your suffering, refined in your perseverance. And now it rests upon your head as a symbol of destiny fulfilled, chosen one. Crowns are not given cheaply. They are rewards for endurance, for faith that clung to God when everything else fell apart. This is why you had to endure storms that others did not. This is why you faced rejection sharper than most. This is why you carried battles in silence that no one else saw. The crown you now wear is proportionate to the fire you survived. And what does the crown declare? It is heaven's way of saying, "This one is mine." It is God's announcement to the earth and the unseen realms that you belong to Him, that you are not forgotten, that you are not broken beyond repair. Your crown is evidence that you are a victor, not a victim. It shines with the testimony of survival, faith, and transformation. The Apostle Peter reminds us in his first letter, chapter 5, verse 4, "And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that does not fade away." This is the crown you now step into, not one that fades with time or corrodes with age, but one that is eternal, unshakable, and anchored in God Himself. What the world crowns will pass. What heaven crowns will endure forever. You have been chosen for an unfading crown. Chosen one. Look back for a moment. Remember the sleepless nights, the seasons where you almost quit, the moments where silence felt unbearable. Those were not wasted. They were the proving grounds. And now, as you step forward, let gratitude flood your heart. Every hardship carved the space for this crown. Every loss created the room for this glory. Do not shrink under the weight of it. Some will question, some will doubt, some will resist the change in you. But do not bow to their misunderstanding. The crown does not rest on their heads, it rests on yours. Walk with humility, yes, but also with confidence. You are crowned for such a time as this. This hour is also prophetic for generations. The crown you wear is not just for you, it is for those who come after you. Your endurance has broken cycles. Your perseverance has shifted bloodlines. Your faith has rewritten destinies. Children not yet born will walk in freedom because you chose to endure. Families once bound in darkness will walk in light because you chose to carry the fire. The crown is generational. Chosen one. Let this be your focus, not the weight of what was lost, but the glory of what has been gained. The crown is not just an end, it is a beginning. It marks the close of one season and the dawn of another. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. The whispers of doubt will fade. The sting of rejection will lose its bite. And the voice of the King will ring louder. Well done, faithful one. Wear your crown. And so, the crowning hour becomes your sending hour. You are not meant to sit silently with this crown. You are meant to rise, to walk, to shine. The crown is a call to step boldly into your destiny, to carry heaven's weight with grace, to live as one who has truly been chosen. October 5th has sealed it. You are no longer waiting, no longer wandering, no longer questioning. You are crowned. You are called. You are commissioned. The world may not yet recognize it, but all of heaven does, and heaven's recognition is more than enough. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this journey, but not the end of your story. From section 1 until now, heaven has been unveiling mysteries, confirming your calling, and sealing your destiny. October 5th has been marked as a day of divine explosion, and you have walked through every preparation word by word, step by step. But now comes the most important part: how you will carry it forward. This word was not sent to entertain you, but to awaken you. You are chosen, marked, and crowned for such a time as this. And yet, the journey is not meant to be walked in isolation. Fire grows stronger when flames come together. That is why I ask you, with sincerity, to let your engagement be your prophetic act. When you like this message, you are pressing your agreement into the atmosphere, saying, "Yes, I receive this word." When you share it, you are passing the flame to another chosen one who may still be stumbling in the dark. Your simple act could be the key that helps them step into their own calling. And when you subscribe, you are planting yourself in a stream of ongoing fire, choosing to journey with others rather than wander alone. And do not leave silently. Take a moment to comment. Let your words be your covenant. Type what is stirring in your spirit, whether it is, "I am chosen," "I walk in power," or simply, "Amen." Your comment is not small. It is a declaration written in the sight of heaven, a witness to others who are reading. So, chosen one, let us not let this flame flicker out. Carry it, spread it, multiply it. October 5th has marked you, and your engagement now helps mark others. Together, we are not just listeners of prophecy, we are doers, carriers, and torchbearers.